back to the trading desk, we're talking about the rally we've seen since early March and all the way through April. Market's up about 35% in 2 months' time. April is actually the best month for the stock market in a long, long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been, from we got down to 660 or something like that, and we're back up to 900 today.
We touched 900 this morning.
So it's been a big rally, but I see what I do agree with what you're saying. I mean, I think we've been in a bear market since March of 2000, and we saw a really big, kind of corrective bounce over, from 2003 to 2007, a 4-year bear market rally basically, and then we saw a resumption of the bear market over the last few years. So basically been in almost a 10-year bear market.
And I think it could continue for another 10, honestly.
You know what's interesting, and Jesse and I, we had coffee before the show, we were talking about this. Everybody's focused on, I want to get back in the market, so I want to go into stocks. And we were talking that the way the market's trading right now, it's very indecisive. Why not just look at other asset classes? You don't have to go back into stocks.
Right.
There's other attractive plays, maybe being short treasury bonds.
Sure.
Short gold.
I was looking at treasuries today.
Or,
treasuries are up 50%. 10-year rates are up 50% since the December lows of 2%.
Right. Oh, yeah.
We're at 3.2 now. So, I mean, a huge run.
Right. If you were buying buying into that big spike in treasuries, you lost a lot of money over the last.
That was almost a telltale sign.
It was classic.
It was a telltale sign.
Blow off. Yeah.
The fact that we couldn't hold those levels. There's no.
Yeah, so you have energy running again. Oil up from 36 to 52.
Soft commodities
53.
are starting to break out.
Commodities are breaking out. Interest rates are up.
So that brings up another good
gold is
point,
up.
though. Even if you are thinking of getting back in, if you got out because you were scared or whatnot, if you're thinking about getting back in, you don't have to look at it as just I want to get back into stocks. I think the most crucial decision you're going to have to make over the next few months is sectors.
Right.
I think there are going to be sectors that are going to do really well no matter what the market does, and there are going to be sectors that are going to do poorly. And I think consumer staples is probably one of those ones that's played out. I mean, that was when people tried to hide.
Consumers, absolutely. Look at the restaurants. I mean, they've all. I mean, look at Chipotle, Panera Breads. P.F. Chang's, Red Robin, all these stocks have tripled almost in the last 6 weeks.
I was meaning more the Coca-Cola's, Procter and Gamble's, the things that
Kellogg's.
people buy.
The defensive plays.
Exactly, the defensive
Those
plays.
are
I think those did fairly well through the bear market. But if we do start seeing signs of an economic recovery, even if the restaurants don't do well, I think you might look to oil. I think that might be a sector.
Oil's getting above 50 again. I was listening to Bill Gross of PIMCO, biggest bond fund manager. Yeah. And he did a podcast on, the theme was, most of us have been children of a bull market, mean reverting. You buy to the trend line, and he says, forget about it now. And he said exactly what you did. It doesn't mean you have to be all into the stocks. It's all into a sector that makes sense. And it's going to completely change the mindset of the way
even
people
within
approach.
the sector, look at the individual opportunities. I mean, you maybe don't want to buy ExxonMobil. You maybe want to look to a smaller cap natural gas play.
And I think that everybody is a technician now, and I think that it has gotten more difficult, and I think that's also why you've seen everything run down, everything run up. I mean, and so it makes it very difficult to do what we're talking about. I do believe, I think it is difficult because it is a different environment in that everybody knows these standard ways to play the game. So again, you look at discretionaries for the last 6-8 weeks. These restaurant stocks, which you would think in a depressed economy wouldn't be doing this well, but the reason they have, I think, is because you've had all the tax dollars, the refunds that have come back the last 6 weeks. You probably got 70% of that done, and I
think a lot of stocks too in February, March traded down to basically levels that implied they were going out of business.
Right.
And so when people discovered, wow, they're not going to go out of business, they actually have cash and no debt on their balance sheet, and they can weather this downturn, and they realize they're going to survive, and this is kind of the survival bounce, I think, for a lot of those companies.
Yeah, but again, you get into that next period of earnings, and all bad news is good now. Yeah. All bad news is good, period. And so watch out for when good news starts and how the market behaves, because I think that could show a turn.
The only thing we haven't seen just yet, though, is we haven't seen a lot of euphoria on the business channels. We're starting to see, are we going to get to Dow 10,000?
Right.
So when they start trumpeting that, that's when I think we're due for the next leg lower. Because I don't think that this move is going to be sustainable over the next several months. I think we're probably going to top out That's just my belief
In
at this
stocks.
point in time. Yeah, I think so. S&P around 1,000, maybe 1,100.
Yeah,
Well,
but
you know,
that's-
we
can't
were
see it
talking
much
about
beyond that.
we were talking about
but-
getting in now. I mean, the market's up 35% off the lows. I mean, if it's 900 now and it could go to 1,000, hey, maybe you could make that 10%, but your risk is probably 10% on the
30,
downside,
right.
Yeah.
15% on the. So risk reward is no longer
Skewed to your
favoring.
favor.
No,
Yeah,
definitely not.
We got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to discuss a little bit about the local Bend economy. You're watching The Trading Desk on COTV.